So there again, in dealing with trust recovery in a relationship, I believe it's important not to focus on the trust itself. I was reading a newsletter by Cam Blanchard, and I picked a few things up out of that. But he says to focus on the behaviors that causes the low trust. In fact, as a general practice, he recommends trying to avoid using the word trust completely during the trust rebuilding conversations. Because by focusing on behaviors, you and the party or your partner can zero in on what you can control and how you treat each other. So he outlines 3 basic steps which I have expanded on. So firstly, he talks about diagnosing which element of trust is low. So before you can even begin to discuss specific behaviors causing low trust, you have to be able to diagnose which element of trust is being eroded. That's because trust isn't one-dimensional concept, as I always say. It was from the ABCD model of trust. I've identified 4 main elements of trust, that is being competence, integrity, care, and dependability. So depending upon the context and nature of the relationship, some elements may be emphasized more than the others, but all are still important and need or required in some extent. For example, competence, integrity, and dependability may be more relevant in a relationship with your auto mechanic, while demonstrating care may be less so. You understand? So if you go to your mechanic, you trust their competence, but maybe you might not even try. You might not trust their care or as much. So it comes in varied quantities per time. Like there again, I was having a chat with my mechanic yesterday when I went to see him, and you can trust your mechanic to have the knowledge required of fixing your cars, but you may not trust that the charges that he will give you will be completely fair. You understand? So yeah, it's just one of those things. So it may cause you to wonder, that is, if you have trust issues in his pricing, it may cause you to wonder if he or she has really your best interest at heart, and therefore could erode trust in that area or in that aspect. So after we've diagnosed the element of low trust, we have to identify the specific behaviors that are causing that. So when you feel you don't trust someone, it's really a situation where you distrust everything about that individual. As I've always maintained, it's always almost always 1 or 2 key behaviors driving the erosion of the trust in a relationship. So once you've diagnosed which element of the trust is low, you can then narrow down on the behavior causing the gap in trust. For example, people are dependable if they behave in ways that show they are reliable, responsive, and accountable. So those kinds of behaviors look like meeting deadlines or following through on commitments, or being readily available or getting back to you in a reasonable amount of time, when or the person holding themselves accountable to their commitments. Or if you're experiencing low trust with your partner, for instance, in the area of infidelity, let's say, let's use that as a case here. It will help to focus on that and narrow down on that, and see how we can fix it. Okay, how we can fix them rather than throwing our hands in the air and um, losing sight of the fact that the trust issue might just be in one area and not everything about that person. And it's also important after that, after we have identified that specific behavior and we're dealing with it, is to provide feedback on behavior. Okay. Um, I'll say that giving feedback to someone is a movement of trust itself in a relationship. Okay. It's an opportunity to either build trust or erode it. So it's important we approach the situation with a clear purpose and plainness of mind. Unless we don't intend on building or rebuilding the relationship in or rebuilding the trust foundations of the relationship. So once you've diagnosed which of these four um, elements of trust that is being eroded and narrowed down on the specific behaviors causing them, the next step, just as I'm saying, is to provide feedback on those and develop a plan for strengthening them if the intent is to move forward. Okay, so focus the conversation on the behaviors the person can control and change moving forward, not on general personality traits or characteristics, because we all have got flaws. Okay, so resist the urge to overgeneralize or soft pedal the feedback. Let's get some descriptions in. Let's be specific. Let's be direct and most importantly describe the negative impact of this resulting or the negative impact that the behavior gives rise to. Okay, but also assume best intentions, as I always say, best intentions, because if we believe the best, it could be, yes, the impact may be adverse, but the intent may not have been, from the other party. Because even the as they say that the streets of hell were even paved with good intentions. So, that's the reason why God doesn't just judge acts, but He judges intent. He judges the motive behind what we do. So, if we can put ourselves in a place where we can think on motive and think on intent, and when particularly when the party makes an effort at showing their intent in their action, even as they are getting addressed or getting helped, um, it helps. It'll help. And finally, keep the conversation focused on problem solving, or resolving the troublesome behavior and moving forward in a productive way. Because this year, something I've built into my mantra is that change alone is not good, but progress is paramount. Okay, progress is paramount. So let's use our previous, or using our the previous example that I've given of addressing a trust gap caused by someone's lack of dependability. The feedback might sound something like this: Sam, we need to discuss the weekly project status reports. You've missed your deadlines, and as a result, we have had to, we've not been able to complete so and so tax. Okay, then overall focus on what needs to happen going forward. And make the person aware that that is not a behavior that you expect of them, and that you believe this is what change can be made going forward. And then when everyone gets in anyone at all who is on the offensive side, when they get addressed in this manner, it will be easier for them to embrace the rebuke and and deal with it in a better way or in a better light. Okay. So I firmly believe that nobody on earth, no one person considers themselves to be an untrustworthy person. So to flat out tell someone I don't trust you will usually lead to damaging the relationship further and make the recovery of trust all that harder, if not impossible. But by diagnosing the elements of trust being eroded in a relationship, identifying the specific behaviors at the root of the issue, and discussing ways to address them moving forward, we can get trust back on track while preserving and growing the relationship. Because there's no relationship that is ever beyond repair.